What if I told you that the biggest threat to the fitness industry is not some kind of new working out method or high rocks or any new kind of trend that it comes to workouts? It's actually like a very tiny pen. And before you attack me, this is a demonstration pen that you cannot do anything without. But drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, and many others is that magic weight loss miracle drug that fitness trainers was scared of. But are we really scared of that? During this video, I'll discuss the pros and cons of weight loss medication and why exactly it won't destroy personal training as a career, because there's a little bit more to exercise than just weight loss. Now, first of all, I know as a personal trainer, those medications are a little bit scary because we are conditioned that people are mostly coming to us for weight loss. And now here we are, there is a injection drug which is a lot cheaper than any personal training service. So to give you an example, a month of this medication costs somewhere in between 130 and 200 pounds. So if you ask any personal trainer, one session a week with the personal trainer will be somewhere in between 160 to 300 pounds, depends what you're charging. I know some people who are charging 40 quid for a session, but then I know my nearest competitor is doing 75 pounds per session. So if you think about the price range, what you're getting in that weight loss medication will go a lot further than 4 sessions with the personal trainer a month. Well, this is debatable because at this moment, exercise is the single best thing that you can do to your body. And it goes beyond weight loss. It's actually a little bit deeper than that. Your muscular health, your bone health, your ligaments and joints are dependent on your muscle strength because as you strengthen your muscles, you strengthen your ligaments and joints at the same time. Your bones are getting stronger. So there is a lot more to exercise than just actually going for a weight loss. However, exercise sounds like a hard thing to do because when you think about it, like now if you hire a personal trainer, you have to arrange 4 hours a month that you will see him. And to be honest, one session a week will not really bring any noticeable results. So when you think about putting these things on paper, Ozempic wins for weight loss. And now, what does it really do? These medications generally reduce hunger and your desire for food. Some foods that you really enjoyed, you may not like them anymore, or you will not be as hungry as you normally are, so you're not going to eat as much as you normally would. And that's exactly how you will achieve weight loss. That weight loss will come from the calorie deficit because you are not going to eat enough calories to maintain your weight. That's just simply how things work. When you come for a personal trainer with weight loss concerns, I will try to get you on a calorie deficit, which means that you will be eating 500 calories less daily, and that will lead to roughly half a kilogram weight loss a week. So as personal trainers, we are trying to help people to achieve that calorie deficit, and that comes through adjusting the diet and your lifestyle. When you inject something like Ozempic, this just automatically kills your hunger and you don't really get hungry, so you don't want to eat as much, and the diet adjustment side of things comes by itself. And you may be wondering at this point, so if I'm losing weight, what's the difference if I go for medication and I don't train versus I go for training and I adjust my diet? A golden ticket. Maybe you combine this weight loss medication with resistance training, so you're less hungry, it's easier to overcome your diet side of things, and you start lifting weight, which will improve your body composition. Win-win situation. Now, this is ideal circumstances if you choose to go for that weight loss medication. However, most people won't do it. One of the main problems that we have when we go through weight loss is that we're also losing muscle. And that's bad for multiple reasons. It slows down your metabolism, your body gets weaker. If you are thinking about, I don't know, hiking up the hill, if you have less muscle mass in your legs, it might be significantly harder. But the older you get, the more important that retention of muscle mass is. Because for me, 32-year-old, I mean, I can lose some muscle mass. I have some spare muscle mass, to be honest. But if I will lose some muscle mass, that may mean nothing. But if you're 60 plus or 50 plus and you haven't exercised, and getting off the chair is already quite challenging for you because you don't have leg strength, well, think if you will lose more strength, your independence can be affected. And now I know like those things don't necessarily work from year to year basis. They do build up over decades. And at some point you just find yourself from being fine to the point where you need help to do some day-to-day tasks. And I know that because I have some clients who are 50, 60 years old, and they're often talking about their parents, how their mobility is affected, and how they cannot do day-to-day stuff. Now, I know most people who are going for Ozempic will be much younger than that, but we have to look at decades ahead. So if you take that while you're 40 and you lose your muscle mass, by the time you'll hit 60, you'll be very weak and frail. And I personally don't like scaremongering, but I think that's one of the main reasons why as personal trainers will have more work from medications like Ozempic than it will actually mess up our ability to get new clients. So a few things that will happen as a personal trainer. The person who's been trying to lose weight on their own and haven't succeeded, they haven't probably invested in any services yet. So by them choosing Ozempic, they're crossing that barrier. They're actually investing into bettering themselves in terms of losing weight and improving, well, eating less. I don't necessarily think that people will improve their diets. Some do, some won't, that's normal. But by buying these medications, you're already getting used to spending money on your health. So the crossing the barrier from injection to buying personal training services or semi-private personal training services will be a little bit easier because these people will psychologically get used to investing into their health. And I see that as a good thing. Now, also what happens quite often is when I speak with people who's been on that medication, is they lost the weight, but they're still not happy how they look in the mirror. And that's exactly where loss of muscle mass comes in. Like one of the roles of having muscle mass in our body, it also keeps our body in a nicer shape. So even if you have a little bit more excess body weight, but you're very muscular, you will look a lot better than actually just being skinny and having skin hanging off. Losing that weight will look good on the scales. It will not necessarily show up to the mirror. And at that point, people will realize that they need to do some strength training and do some exercise to actually stimulate that muscle to keep it on. And I think it will probably help more people to get into fitness than it will push away from, because if you think about it, now, if I would be 150 kilograms, it would be extremely challenging for me to get off this chair and get into the gym. But if you lose 50 kilograms, you start moving, you start feeling a little bit better about yourself. You also get a little bit of optimism that this is possible. So then you are more inclined to take that next step, which is go to the gym or hire a personal trainer or join a semi-private studio. I don't think that this Ozempic and weight loss medications will actually lead personal trainers to losing our jobs. To be honest, I think it will create more demand for personal training in the long run. So maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, it will be a bit more challenging to adapt. But given some time, I'm sure that people will be like, okay, I need to train. There's more benefits to exercise than just weight loss. I mean, there's psychological benefits. It works better than most of antidepressants, to be honest. That's backed by research. That's not just me talking out of my ass. But there is a lot more benefits to exercise than just weight loss. So that's exactly why I don't think that us personal trainers will lose our jobs because of Ozempic. I think we are more likely to lose our jobs due to some bad economic decisions by our governments rather than some weight loss medication. But that's for completely different video, and I will keep my political views off this. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will enjoy this one, and let me know down in the comments what do you think about weight loss medication.